Watch this entire video while you can, people, because while these songs are great and safe for background music, I'm not so sure how safe this video will be if I play them untouched for you guys, which I plan on doing. Maybe I'll add a little commentary over, but yeah, that's the disclaimer. So if this video goes down later, you'll know why. Back in the mid to late 90s, it was all about Sony versus Nintendo, and I'm gonna be transparent with you guys, I was on Sony's side when it came to the music. Now don't get me wrong, the Nintendo 64 had some amazing soundtracks like the Mario 64 soundtrack, Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, and while they're still iconic, memorable, and amazing, you can't really say they stand alone outside their games or aren't dated. Getting stuff on the level of the DK Rap or Buck Bumble was extremely rare, but for Sony on the PlayStation 1, thanks to their quality sound system, it was a regular thing, often even better. And no, I'm not just talking about your iconic Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tekken, Final Fantasy, and Metal Gears. I'm talking about everything. Even some of the most obscure games had some of the most amazing soundtracks. I know it's not too obscure, but take the Ape Escape soundtrack for example, which you're hearing right now. With all of this said though, let's dive in and take a look at some of these awesome PlayStation 1 soundtracks. Now, while I did say I would be highlighting the more obscure PlayStation games, there are still some more well-known ones that need to be mentioned. And I think I'll start off using Croc as my biggest example for this video to show that it's not just single pieces of music, it's entire soundtracks. Let's have a listen. Even though the sequel that no one remembers has an overall less impressive soundtrack, it still manages to have a few good tunes in there. But of course we can't forget one more PlayStation classic, Rayman. His current games get praised for their great soundtrack, but his first game on the PlayStation 1 gets overlooked. Now we begin to dip our toes into the more obscure with Jet MOTO. Keep in mind that this came out in 1996, the same year as Super Mario 64. What you're about to hear shows off the difference better than any other. Here we go. This sounds like it would belong in a game that comes out today. It's detailed, it's impressive, and if you think that's it, just wait till we get about 40 seconds in. This ain't it either though, we're still going. Don't worry, we'll get to another game after this, though. There there was a period where PlayStation 1 would start a trend of taking super old arcade games and modernizing them for the current time. One of those was Frogger. The amount of bass and variety in this soundtrack is ridiculous. It didn't even need this introduction. And just like Croc, it was followed by a pretty meh sequel, but another fantastic soundtrack. Alright, now here's one of the ones I wanted you to hear the most. Of course we can imagine Frogger evolving its formula if people tried hard enough. But what about Pong? Alright, I can hear y'all thinking right now, what, it's just another generic bleepy bloopy song, but then... So what? You think a couple stringed instruments are gonna change anything? Just wait, my friend. Here we go. This is Pong! If you're thinking this whole fantastic soundtrack rule only applies to original games, you'd be wrong. Even licensed and third-party games have this. And this applies whether it's something popular like Toy Story or even something as weird as The Muppets. It even applies to things as absurdly stupid as video games based around the M&Ms. Apologies for the quality though, it's the best I could find. And that's pretty much all I want to show you for now. I don't want to get in any more trouble. YouTube, please spare me. Please don't claim this video for at least a month. I'm just passionate and I want people to see these songs. But yeah, be sure to go check out the full soundtracks for each of these games for yourself, and you'll see how incredible they truly are. There are some other ones I didn't show in this video that I still recommend, like the sequels to Jet Moto 2 and 3. Then there's the Namco Museum, Volume 1 being my personal favorite, and other licensed games like the Bugs Life video game. Overall, I showed you some great soundtracks, gave you some other great soundtracks to listen to, and hey, maybe you'll use these for background music for your videos like I do, now that I've shown them to you. And yeah, Leopold the Brave out.